Okay, colleagues, we're going to start now. And we were talking about, before we broke for, for our break, for our tea break, we were talking about winning at work holistically. Now, there is a gentleman who is an author and a scholar, and he wrote this colossal book. His name is Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl wrote this book that ended up selling over 12 million copies. It's one of the most powerful books. Viktor Frankl was in the concentration camps, and as a Jewish man who was facing death, he looked around him and people were dying, being shipped out of his rooms, and never returning. But he also observed some of the people that actually were dying out of not coping mentally with the prospect of their imminent demise. And he wrote this book called Man's Search for Meaning. And there's a part where he writes about how to approach the whole question of success. And Viktor Frankl says, don't aim at success, because the more you aim at it and make it a target, the more you're going to miss it. And he continues to say, for success, just like happiness, cannot be pursued. It must ensue. And it only does so as the unintended consequence or side effect of one's personal dedication to a cause that is greater than oneself. Look at what he says next. He says, happiness must happen. And the same holds for success. You have to let it happen by not caring about it. Then you will live to see that in the long run, yes, in the long run, I say, that's what he says. He says that success will follow you precisely because you had forgotten about it. That's exactly what I'm talking about when I'm talking about winning at work. You're not working for the promotion. You're working for fulfillment from a job well done. You're working for emotional health. You're working for being happy with the quality of the work that you do, having those happy feelings, and being recognized and rewarded in many different forms. But when the promotion comes, it will be a bonus. It will be a byproduct of your dedication to your task at hand. Now, basically what I've been saying on this particular topic of winning at work in context is contained on the first page of your book, of our book now, because you have a copy of my book. Now, what I'm saying in that statement on the text box is exactly what I've already said. But look at what I close this particular topic with this particular lesson with. Look at the very last sentence of this lesson statement. I'm saying that the ability to support your and your family's livelihood is also part of winning. Sometimes we soon forget. How soon we forget sometimes. We sometimes forget in terms of how fortunate we are to be in the positions that we are in at this workplace, but also to be in a position to be employed, meaningfully employed, that we can comfortably take care of our needs and the needs of our loved ones. That is part of winning. I believe you're a winner. You wouldn't have ascended to the leadership roles that you are in today if you are not a winner. You wouldn't be in a position to can take care of your responsibilities at home if you're not a winner. You're not a loser. I will not even think about that. You're not a loser. Losers do not look like you. Losers do not sound like you. Losers are not in this fortunate position that you're in today. Now, let us now get to the second topic, which is about work is team sport. So if work operates more like team sport, I say on chapter 4 in the book that you need to play the game wisely. There's a word in the English language, and that word is wits. When they say you've got wits in the English language, they basically mean that you are a wise person. That's what they mean. You're a wise person. The English language defines that word simply as that basic human power of intelligent thought. Basically meaning that you are a wise person. So I took that word and I broke it down, and used the letters on the word wits to stand for, to mean work is team sport. Meaning that if you understand that concept of work operating more like team sport, then you are a wise person. Then you are a wise person. So if work operates more like team sport, remember what I said in my opening remarks. I said there is no such a thing as a winning member of a losing team. If your team has lost, you have also lost. If your team has won, you have also won. You are part of that team that you are leading. You need to make sure that as leaders in this organization, we are actually in a fortunate position that we can rally the troops that report into us, individually and collectively, to make the team win. And if the team that you're leading wins, you are a winner of a leader. That's why the gelling of the team, making sure that the team is collaborative with one another, is supportive towards one another, and is growing and developing with one another, and you're taking out the poison, you're eliminating the poison within the team environment. That is part of the steps towards you as a leader of that team winning. Now, there are people who may question, and in fact, people have questioned, have asked me, they were wondering when I was saying, be an effective team player in order for you to win. If you want to win, make sure you are an effective team player. So the people were just wondering if they ended up being very supportive, being very collaborative, being very understanding, being very respectful towards their teammates, towards their direct reports, and even towards their seniors. They were wondering whether that being an effective team player would then suppress their individual excellence. Let me allay anybody's fears for those who might be having similar fears. Your being an effective team player will never result in the suppression of your individual excellence. Your individual excellence will still shine through, but the individual excellence shines through in the service of a team. That's when they recognize you as that particular individual, that particular talent that is showing so much promise, not only technically, but also in terms of team leadership. So when I say develop yourself into becoming an effective team player, the logical question to ask then will be, to what effect? Why should I bother, Stanley? You may ask. Here is the answer to that. It's because there are clear benefits, clear and tangible benefits to you when you are an effective team player. Benefits such as these that you see on your screen. You enjoy peer recognition, you get respected by your peers, to a point where when you get promoted, you will not find people screaming and shouting its favoritism or preferential treatment to you, against them. They will be happy for you because they like working with you. They like your attitude. They find your attitude and your behavior to be very supportive, very collaborative. You also, when you are an effective team player, you will find that you almost always have people on your side. People will support your efforts. Why? Because you support theirs too. You're not jealous of their achievements. But also you find that you will be more likely to attract the attention and the eyes of those decision makers in your organization that are looking at sustaining the business through capacity development, and in the organization they see that you've got leadership capacity through your present efforts and application. But also the people that are effective team players, they tend to enjoy being at work. They tend to enjoy coming to work and being at work and performing at work. So if you want to reap any of these benefits and more, start today working on developing yourself into becoming an effective team player, and you will love the results. You will love the outcomes of being an effective team player. Now, I want us to put it to a test. Currently, on your current work team, are you an effective team player or not? And I want us to use the following question to put that to a test as to whether you are an effective team player or not. The question is, if you were to resign from your team or your company today, what would happen? Meaning, if your direct reports, if your leadership colleagues on your management committee, if they were to hear that, if they were to learn that you have just handed in your letter of resignation, what will be their response or reaction to the news of your sudden resignation? Would the following happen? Would your teammates be saddened by your sudden departure? Are they going to be sad that you're leaving? Or if they heard that you've just handed in your letter of resignation, would the following happen? Will there be a party after work without you having been invited to the party that will be celebrating your resignation? I mean it, good people. If they were to hear that, they were to learn that you've just resigned, will they go and celebrate your resignation as good riddance? Because when they go and celebrate your resignation without you having been invited to the same celebration of your resignation, you know what they say to one another when they invite each other to the celebration of your resignation? They say, today calls for a celebration because the problem is going. When they say the problem is going, they're talking about you. What does this mean for you? Not only for today, but also going forward. It means primarily two things. The first thing that it will mean is, it will mean that whilst you have been here, there are certain things that you have not been doing right for your own self. The second thing that it means is even worse for you. It means that the problem in you and about you, you are now taking with you to your next job. Meaning that even wherever you are going, with your new teammates, it will just be a matter of time before they themselves will be wanting and wishing you away, just like your colleagues who are busy celebrating your departure right here. Good people, it's about time we start doing what is in our best interest, not only for today, but also for going forward. Let me warn you. Let me issue this stern warning. You are definitely not being an effective team player at your workplace if you are a member of this club, a member of the gossip club. If you gossip, as a scanner, if you sheba, aliseba, if you scanner, as a scanner, if you gossip, you are not being an effective team player. And we need to warn people because gossips are very dangerous. Gossips can be so dangerous, they poison the workplace. They poison the work environments. They damage relationships. What is the purpose of gossiping? If it cannot be positive. It will almost always be negative. Gossips are dangerous, good people, simply because if you are the gossiping type, you are never going to be trusted and you are not going to be respected at your workplace. I'll give you a very good example. If I worked with you and we worked with one of our colleagues and you came to me today to gossip negatively about one of our teammates, I would never trust you. You, the one that is busy gossiping to me about one of our teammates. Because if you're capable of gossiping about me today, what will stop you from gossiping about me tomorrow? So there are certain things that I will never say around you. There are certain things that I will never ever tell you if I know that you're the gossiping type. But it even goes beyond that. You are not going to be trusted. If you had ambitions in your company to ascend to top management positions, and then you are known in the business that you are the gossiping type, do you honestly believe that they would trust you at that top management level, that you could keep confidential information confidential? They wouldn't. I wouldn't be able to trust you with keeping confidential information confidential if I know that you are the gossiping type. They will overlook you for a promotion and you then get to be aggrieved, thinking that everybody knows that I'm the best in my division, but I've been overlooked. But you don't realize where are the missing parts that could have actually positioned you without fail to ascend to that position. So my point, good people, is gossips are dangerous because they also travel. They travel and they may end up at the unintended ear. And when people gossip, they usually start by saying, please don't tell anybody. This is confidential. But the one that you've said that will say the exact same thing to another, saying, please, Simon told me this, or Kathy told me this, or Tsidi told me this. Please keep it confidential. You know, I laugh when I tell this. My little sister usually comes to me and she will phone me. Stanley, you know what? Jane, who's my other sister, Jane told me this and she told me never to tell anybody. And please, you don't also tell anybody. But my salvation is, but you've been told not to tell anybody. But here you are now telling me. Now here's the point. There is a saying in the Swahili language. Most of the people that speak the Kiswahili language, they are in East Africa, in Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda. And in the Swahili language, they have a saying that is so much full of wisdom. And I need to share that saying with you. The saying goes, a secret between two people is no longer secret. That's what the saying says. A secret between two people is no longer secret. What that means is, once you have whispered it into somebody else's ear, it's gone. And there is no telling where it might end up at. Once you've whispered into somebody's ear, you have got no control over it. So if you want to keep something to yourself, you keep it to yourself. What if the one that you've gossiped with, and it's destructive, poisonous, toxic gossiping about your superior, or about one of your direct reports, or about one of your teammates? What if that then gets to their ear? You don't want to do that. So good people, you've been warned. You need to warn your direct reports as well. Those that you know are in the habit of doing that, they will also hear me with this warning. But you need to continue reinforcing the positivity of our coexistence and the benefits of that positive coexistence to ourselves individually and collectively. So if you've been a member of a gossip club, now that you've heard me talk about this, please review your membership on that gossip club. What I mean is resign with immediate effect. Bedank, bly weg, phuma, itswa mo. You don't belong there. You've got too much sense in your head. Don't entertain the gossips. You can have a beautiful, fulfilling life without the gossips. But here's the point. Some people will say, but Stanley, what if I just talk to Jenny about you? I'm merely talking about you, Stanley. I'm not gossiping. I'm just talking. Is that still gossiping? And I will make this clear distinction. And I want you to be with me. If that which you're telling Jenny about me If you cannot say the same thing in my face, then you are gossiping. If you're going to tell Jenny never to tell anybody, you're gossiping. If you cannot say it in my face, you're gossiping. Now, I'm saying review your membership, not renew your membership. I don't want you there. Because if we gossip as leaders, who do we gossip with? Members of the team? What if the other members of the team get to learn that we're gossiping with other members of the team? We are contributing to the further poisoning of our own team environment. We need to discourage people from doing that. We need to lead by example. Now, where to from here then, in terms of teamwork? Here I've got this very heavy metal of a concept. It's about forgiveness. People will ask me, Stanley, how do you bring in the concept of forgiveness within the context of teamwork? I will tell you how this concept fits right into teamwork. Good people, you all work in the real world. And you all are real people. You also work with real people. Being a real person yourself in the real world. Let me tell you about real people like you and me. Real people like you and me are capable of making a mistake. It is in the nature of the human being to make a mistake. When you had made a mistake and you had said something or done something without an intention to hurt somebody's feelings and harm their dignity, you would normally ask for forgiveness and hope and pray that the individual finds it within their heart to forgive you. But the question is, why then are we so unforgiving? Why are we so unforgiving when one of our teammates had wronged us? This brings me back to teamwork with this concept. Let's take it that one of your teammates had done you wrong. Let's take it that they had said something, they had done something that had really hurt you, and you felt aggrieved by it, and you are still aggrieved by it to this day. What I'm asking you to do is to seriously consider forgiving your colleague, the one that had wronged you. And why is that important? It's important because if you won't forgive, you can't move on. That relationship is dead. If you won't forgive, you cannot move on. Now, when you cannot move on with that particular individual, what will happen to you when you keep on sitting on that pain? Because every time you see that person in the workplace, every single day of the work week, you may be going through that pain all over again. What if you're going to be working with that particular colleague of yours for the next 30 years? Are you honestly really prepared to be sitting on that pain for that long? Remember what I'm saying. I want you to pay very particular attention to this. When I ask you to seriously consider forgiving the one that had wronged you, I'm not asking you to do that for their sake, to do that for their benefit, to do that for them to think now that what they had done to you was actually okay. I'm not asking you to do that for that reason. But because I'm not asking you to do that for their sake. What am I asking you to seriously consider forgiving them for? I'm asking you to do that for your own sake. Because the longer you're sitting on that pain, you are essentially punishing you for the mistake of another. You punishing yourself for the other person's mistake. Now, here's the point. When you refuse, when you argue with your reason and sensibility, your mind says, I must forgive that person. It makes logical sense. But there's part of you that says, no. When I do that, I will be showing signs of weakness. I'm advising you to swallow your pride here. It is not about being strong or being weak. Fighting is not a demonstration of strength. But you realize what you want to achieve going forward. And you see this obstacle. And the best way to remove this obstacle on your way is to work on yourself. That's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of wisdom. It's a sign of wisdom. You are wiser today. Because when you keep on holding on to that pain, even in your personal relationship, when you keep on holding to that pain, you need to realize what you are doing to yourself. It's like you, out of anger towards the other person, drinking poison, but expecting that poison to kill them. But that poison is busy killing you now. I was in Klerksdorp in the Northwest, and I asked the people in my session, and I said to them, you are punishing yourself when you hold on to that pain, to that grudge. And I said, let me demonstrate to you, let me illustrate to you how you're punishing yourself. I said, you come in the morning to the workplace. One morning you come through and you park your car in the parking lot. And you see not very far from you, your number one enemy, parking a brand new car of their dream, a brand new car of your dreams. What happens to your blood pressure at the parking lot? When I asked that question, one lady raised her hand. She was in her late 40s, Afrikaans lady, very powerful, very lively character. She said, no, Stanley, if I saw my number one enemy parking at the parking lot, a brand new navy blue convertible Ford Mustang, I will wait until they disappear into the offices and I will pick up a stone and scratch it. And I said to her, but do you realize that you are busy punishing yourself? You are busy punishing yourself because your number one enemy on that particular day is one of the happiest human beings in this world, because they're also driving a brand new car of their dreams. But you are miserable. And the misery on this instance had been brought unto you by none other than the one in the mirror, yourself. Good people, this is a very heavy concept. And I think the reason forgiveness is so important, it's so heavy, it's so difficult, is because it's that vital. Let me tell you why. If there was no concept like forgiveness, there will be way far too many murders in this world There are people who have learned to forgive in order for themselves to be normal, to function normally. There are relationships that would not be standing today if there was no concept of forgiveness. Because we as human beings are capable of making mistakes. What is the solution? The solution is not to kill those that have done wrong against us. We want to move on. Now, on this particular topic, in terms of workers' team sport, so play it wisely. Chapter 4 of the book, this is what I'm saying. You've got it captured. I do not have to repeat the words that I've already conveyed to you. The only part that I can convey is the one at the bottom as a very last sentence to that particular statement. It says, and there is no such thing as a winning member of a losing team. Remember that. Now, the third part. Take good care of the precious stepping stone. When companies employ people, when they advertise that position, when they convey to the applicants or even the shortlisted candidates for that position, we are expected as organizations, as employer organizations, we are expected to provide the applicant or applicants with a realistic job preview, RJP for short. In behavioral science terms, in short, it's called the RJP, realistic job preview. Realistic job preview is basically giving the applicant an honest and transparent picture of what the job they had applied for will entail in practice. No sugarcoating. Because the moment you use that recruitment process as a PR exercise, as a public relations exercise to try and attract top talent, and you romanticize this position, and you romanticize the workplace, the person comes into the workplace and they find the opposite of what you had painted to them. And they get disillusioned and they resign before even completing their probationary period. But you know, when we give applicants to positions the realistic job preview, there is one thing that they do not tell you. And that exception is the one that I agree with. And this is what they don't tell you. They don't tell you that the position that you are being appointed into is meant to be your first and final destination. They don't tell you that, because that will not be correct. That the position you are getting into now is or is not going to be your first and final destination. They don't tell you that. Let me tell you why. Because they also will not tell you the promotions that you will get. They say, no, we're employing you into this position, but you will be able to move up the positions into as far and as high as you would like to get to. They don't do that, because that would constitute false promise. How do you promise somebody that they will be promoted? Because being promoted into the higher position will depend almost entirely on their performance. So, What this means, therefore, if this statement is true, that the position you are being appointed into, they don't communicate it, but it is true that the position that you are being appointed into was not meant to be your first and final destination. But what was it meant to be? It was meant to be your stepping stone. This is the position that you can use for you to can move on to another higher level position. They cannot promise you a promotion. They shouldn't. I wouldn't. When I employ somebody, I want them to focus on the job that they have at hand. That's where they are going to prove themselves. That is the platform they are going to prove themselves. Now, what is the definition of a stepping stone? The Merriam-Webster dictionary defines the stepping stone as a stone on which to step, as in crossing a stream. When there's water underneath, in order for you to get over the stream, you've got some stones that had been planted in order to get you over the stream so that you don't soil your attire as you try to get over. But the second part of that definition is more apt to the work environment. It says that a stepping stone is a means to progress or advancement. It is a means. It is a means of progress or advancement. A means is that which you can use in order for you to can progress to the next position. And I did ask you, how do you deal then with a stepping stone? Do you kick it away or do you take good care of it? You take good care of it. That particular position that you're currently occupying. There's a wise man who is late now. He's the former president of the United States. His name was Abraham Lincoln. When he was talking about success, he made a very succinct, very powerful, short statement. And he said, whatever you are, be a good one. Whatever you are, be a good one. That's what Abraham Lincoln said. No, he didn't mean that if you are a criminal, be a good one. Because there's no such. There's no such thing as a good criminal. But what I understood him to be saying with this statement, that is full of wisdom, is that if you're a sweeper of the floors at ThyssenKrupp today, be the best sweeper there is. If you're an operator at the plant of ThyssenKrupp, be the best operator there is, because there are eyes that are watching. And those eyes that are watching, when an opportunity opens up above the level of the sweepers, or above the level of operators, they will come after the one that had applied themselves better than the rest. And in fact, organizational leaders like yourselves, what I've realized is that they would even have a discussion in one of those leadership meetings. They will not even sometimes wait for an opportunity to open up above the level where this employee is performing at. They will create a position for you. They will create a position for that individual. Or they may even transfer that individual to another operation in the business, which transfer may actually constitute a promotion. Good people, when I talk about this, I get response from some of your colleagues at Glorcorp, and people say to me, Stanley, When you were speaking about the stepping stone, you spoke as though you knew my story. Some of the leaders will say that. That look at where I am today. I'm at senior management position. But people will tell you here at this company, I started at the bottom. That's where I started. I started at the bottom. And I used those positions that I was in as a stepping stone. I didn't call them stepping stone then, but that is practical reality. So, a stepping stone is your current position to a successful career. Your stepping stone is, your current position is a stepping stone to a successful career. And what do I mean by that? I mean that if you want to be successful, start and begin where you are. If you've been going around your family environments and your social circles, telling people how much you hate your job, you tell them, oh, I hate that job. I hate it. Let me be brutally honest with you. If you hate your job that much, you are never, ever going to be excellent at it. If you hate it that much, you're not going to be good at it. And if you're not good at it, it will not then act as a stepping stone for you. It will be your first and final career destination. And you will keep on hating it for as long as you will be in that workplace. So here's my challenge to you. Change your attitude towards your job and love it. And when you love it, it will love you back. And it will act as a stepping stone. But even before it will act as a stepping stone, it would give you the personal fulfillment from a job well done. You will look forward to going to work. You will love the quality of the work that you are producing. Sometimes the people who listen to romantic songs, I wonder if they do appreciate and understand the deeper meaning to the lyrics of the songs that they listen to. For example, there's an old song, and I have to quote an old song because I'm much more of advanced age myself. What I appreciated about those old songs is that they still had very good, solid songwriters. Some of them were singing but telling a story. If you listened carefully to the song, to the meaning, to the words of the songs, you will learn some lessons about life. Let me give you an example. There's a song that was performed by the late musician by the name of Percy Sledge. The song is called When a Man Loves a Woman. And a lot of people who listen to that song will listen to the song and it says, when a man loves a woman. And the rhythm, the music is brilliant. And they will start humming with the melody, forgetting to listen to what the man is saying. Because when you listen to what he was saying in his song, he says, when a man loves a woman, he cannot think of anything else. He will trade the world for the good thing that he's found. That's what he says. What does he mean by that? He means basically that when somebody is in deep romantic love, they cannot be trusted because they cannot think of nothing else but this good thing that they have. They will be able to trade the world even for the good thing that they found. But then there's another song performed by several singers, but one of the singers that had actually popularized this song very much is the late Luther Vandross. Luther Vandross sang, "If you cannot be with the one you love, love the one you are with." That's what he said. He said, if you cannot be with the one you love, love the one you are with. What I heard him saying was, what is the point of loving the one that got away? Because the one that got away really got away. They are beyond our reach right now and forever, perhaps. Now, why don't you love the one that is here loving you, who loves you? But then when we bring it back to our stepping stone, our current job position being a stepping stone, when you translate Luther Vandross's words there, it says that if you are currently not in the job position that you would love to be in, please love the job position that you're in right now. Because when you love it, it will love you back. Good people, the main lessons I've already touched on in terms of how important is it for us to can focus on what matters now, which will matter more when we go forward with our careers. And I would like to invite you now to look at part 4, topic number 4 of our session for today. It's called Contribute More Than You Complain and Criticize. This chapter is found on the 9th chapter in the book. Contribute more than you complain and criticize. Here's the point. I did mention that I am not saying that people should not complain or criticize. But what I'm saying is, what happens then once you've complained and criticized? What is the end game? Is it complaining and criticizing? Because complaining and criticizing is basically about bringing an issue to the attention of those who have got the authority and the executive power or operational power to can do something about it. Is that the end game though? Let us look at what people do when they, organizations, when they are recruiting people to come and work for them. Sarah Pollock is one of the leading recruitment specialists. She specializes in recruitment and onboarding. She advises some of the top global companies. She has identified the 12 attributes that people look for, that companies look for when they are recruiting people for their positions, for the positions that are vacant in their organization. So she's got a menu of all of the things that she has, through experience, learned that they are the ones well sought after in terms of attributes by prospective employers. But let's look at what Sarah says. She lists all these 12. And that's what we normally do when we're looking for the people. to bring into our own organization. But when I researched what some of the specialists in recruitment and onboarding say companies are looking for, they all came with lists. This is not an exhaustive list by any chance, but this was one of the most comprehensive ones. As an example, what was missing in my mind, and it kept me looking for somebody who could nail it down. What does this all mean? What do these attributes, what do they culminate into? Tell me in one word. And I struggled to get that one word. But when you look at what they are really looking for with these attributes, in one single word, they are looking for this. They are looking for somebody who can make a material contribution towards the success of their organization. One who would make a material contribution towards the success of the division or the department or the team that they are being employed into. That's what they are looking for. You can go and take up a menu that has got 100 attributes, but they all boil down to this one word. Is this particular candidate well positioned? Do they have the technical skills? Do they have the mental fortitude? Do they have the attitude? Do they have the behavioral issues and attributes that will make them be a contributor towards our success? Companies want to be successful. They will not employ any one of us unless we are going to contribute towards the success. So if companies are looking for contribution towards success in you, then you need to use the correct formula in the workplace. And you've got two different formulas to choose from. One is contributing more than you criticize and complain, versus the other formula, you criticize and complain more than you contribute. Let me tell you why that this is crucial. Because when you use the former formula, the first one, contributing more than you complain and criticize, you will get a certain set of results. But when you flip the formula upside down, where you criticize and complain more than you contribute, you will get a different set of results to the results that you would have gotten from the utilization of the first formula. So my proposal is choose the formula that you believe will deliver the desired results to yourself and to your team and to your organization. Remember, winning, I said, winning is not only about you winning, but also the other relevant parties to the equation, like your customers, like your teammates, like your employer organization. What I've been saying to you is get the formula right. If it's going to deliver the desired results and outcomes for you, that's what I will go for. But also, if you are choosing a formula that will ensure your own professional self-destruction, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do that. You will get the results that you're working towards. But I would want to believe that most of us in the workplace would ordinarily be wanting those positive and beneficial results to ourselves and the other parties in the equation. Now, the final topic that I would like to address you on in our last 10 remaining minutes before I open for questions, comments. This one says, winning at work is not a zero-sum game. What is a zero-sum game? Let's look at what the experts say. The dictionary definition of a zero-sum game is that a zero-sum game is a situation in which one person or group can win something only by causing another person or group to lose it. Let me highlight specific parts of this definition. The part that says winning something only by causing another person to lose it, the same thing that I'm winning. Meaning that if I'm in a zero-sum game, I realize that in order for me to win this competition for this promotion, I've got my number one competitor, who happens to be Janet, or who happens to be Gugu, or who happens to be Hendrik. Now, in order for me, I know now that in order for me to can win this promotion, I've got to sabotage Jeanette, Gugu, or Hendrik. I've got to sabotage them because they're standing in my way. So that's the only way I can actually win. But the problem with that is that you're working on two fronts. Positively on moving your case forward, but negatively on sabotaging another. That's too much work, good people. That is too much work. You can win at work without having to sabotage other people. Let me illustrate the concept of a zero-sum game practically. The perfect illustration that I found to demonstrate this particular concept of a zero-sum game in action. That illustration is found in the game of tennis. The game of tennis gets played on two formats. The singles format and the doubles format. If you look at the first one, the first format, the singles format to tennis, you've got two players, player A and player B. They know, each one of these players, that their ultimate goal is to eliminate the other. Because if they don't eliminate them, they are not going to win the game. Each one of them knows that in order for them to can win, they've got to cause the other one to lose. That is why the game of tennis, they are the ones that speak mostly about unforced errors. The one player causes the other one to commit forced errors. And some of them will commit unforced errors. In order for me to win you've got to lose. So my dual strategy is causing you to lose and causing myself to accumulate more points than you. It's on an elimination type of tactic. But then you get another format, the second format in the game of tennis, the doubles. The doubles format gets called, of course, doubles because it's two people, a set of double people, player A and C are on the same team on one side of the net, and player B and D on the other end of the net, on the other side of the net. The two teams, the two doubles, the twin teams, they are of the same view as on the singles. But on the singles, on the doubles, they are applying the same principle of eliminating the other team. But the two players on the same side of the net in the doubles format in the game of tennis, they are supposed to collaborate. They are supposed to work like a real team, but aiming to defeat the other team. Both sets of teams in the doubles format, they are operating on that form of strategy. Because if player A and C end up competing against each other, player A and C, who are supposed to be collaborating and supportive towards one another, if they start now competing against each other, they are almost certain to lose the game against the other team that is collaborating and supportive towards each other, but competing with the other team. Good people, all I'm saying is, when you look at the zero-sum game concept, I'm saying that concept is antithetical to teamwork and synergy. It is the direct opposite, the zero-sum game, to teamwork and synergy, how they should be working. Because when you look at the definition of synergy, it says that synergy is the increased effectiveness that results when two or more people or businesses work together. Basically, it means that out of a team, you want to get synergy. So in behavioral science terms, synergy is defined as the concept of the whole being bigger than the sum of the individual parts. Meaning that together we can produce a result that is greater than the sum of our individual results. That's how one wins. You don't win negatively, you win positively. You play the game positively. Because if you play the game negatively, and you are seen now at top management, and people then talk and say, but he or she got to that position by stabbing everybody on the back towards that success. And this is what I'm saying in terms of a summation to this particular topic of winning at work is not a zero-sum game. I've said all of the things that I've said to you, but look at what I'm saying as the last part of that statement. I'm saying, and if you become known as the one who gets ahead by stabbing others in the back, it will be very lonely at your success cabin. Success in inverted commas. You can win cleanly. That's what I say. There's a better and cleaner way to win at work. And you would want to have your wins being achieved cleanly. Good people, thank you so very much for your attendance of this session. Thank you so very much for your attention. We at 11:45 now. I have promised that at 11:45 I will open for comments or questions. And remembering that this particular module is the first of the 6, you will get an invitation from Google and others and your colleagues to the second module, which is about fixing yourself for success. The duration will be the same. We try to keep it short and sweet. And you've got the book now, and you can delve deeper into the book. Now, what I will do is I will close the presentation and then open for questions or comments. Thank you so very much. And indeed, it was such a great pleasure for me to have shared this moment with you. And I hope that you have picked up a few takeaways that you will use for your own leadership improvement, but also your own effectiveness with the teams that you are leading, but also takeaways in terms of some of the insights that you might have gained that will be of benefit to you in your coaching and mentoring some of your direct reports, because that's our duty as leaders, to coach and mentor the people that report into us in order to make a success case out of each one of them so that we can lead an effective team that will be winning. That will be a winning team. And by so doing, making us a winning leader. Thank you so very much. Let me close the presentation and connect with you. Yes, I'm all yours. I'm all yours. If you could type up your question, your comment, I'll be more than delighted to address them. Thank you. I'm looking at the chat section of the MS Teams application, and I'm looking for messages. I'm looking for questions. I'm looking for comments. Keep them coming. Keep them coming.
Stanley, are the people also allowed to just ask questions, not necessarily having to write them on the chat section?
Oh yeah,
Would that be okay with you?
no, that was perfectly fine, Kuku. You could either type on the comments on the chat part of the application, or you could actually switch on your microphone and ask the question. Thank you, Kuku.
Thank you. Okay, if I can start. From my side, Stanley, thank you. Thank you so much for the presentation. It was quite insightful. And obviously what you've been talking about is something that I think most of us can relate to. I mean, you're talking about the values that we brought up with as in our families, and also how we interact at work and what works, and also I mean we in the workplace we interface with different characters. We are different characters ourselves, but obviously then what makes it beautiful, being diverse, obviously just we just want to be able to understand each other, understand ourselves. Like you said, we can't change other people, but we can work on ourselves.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed the presentation, and also looking forward to the rest of the modules that you'll be taking us through. And I know tomorrow you'll be taking the rest of the organization through the same modules, obviously focused on them in their areas of work. Colleagues, I don't know if from your side you have anything to say before we close, but I think I speak on everyone's behalf here when I say thank you as a BU UTHA team. We are very grateful for this morning session.
Thank you very much, Gugu. Thank you for the kind words, and also thank you for organizing this session. You know, when you talk about those principles and values, those lessons from home, I'll be honest, good people, Gugu, I'm glad you touched on that. Those have never failed me. Those have never failed me. If you look at the respect part, when I was taught that, Stanley, do not fall for the trap of saying that no, respect is earned. But I was taught that sometimes you give respect in order for you to receive the respect back. When you lead by example, you show the people respect and you tell them that. You show them by example, you prove it by example. That if you work on my team, we need to have our relationships defined by mutual respect. You've got to do that by example. Don't wait for people to show you respect in order for you can show them the respect. So those values, I found them so relevant. They've never failed me. But also some of the values that I've learned from my colleagues and my seniors and my teammates, my direct reports. Life is about continuous learning. The process of learning does not end. It goes on and on and on. I'm still learning today. Thank you, Coco, and thank you to your colleagues. If there's one more question or comment, I will be delighted to field that. Right, if there's none, then let me take this opportunity and thank you very much once again. And also I'd like to wish you good luck. Good luck with the teams that you are leading. Good luck with the teams that you are leading. And also I'd like to wish you good luck and good health in your private lives with your loved ones. But also wishing you good luck in your leadership capabilities and your growth and your fulfillment. Thank you, and thank you so very much. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Stanley. Thank you very much also, colleagues. Okay. Have a great day further.
Thank you, Gugu.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to all. Thank you.